I will introduce some of the projects Rexam Healthcare is working on today, three major innovation projects for us. So, new solution in a challenging environment. So the first point is just an introduction about what Rexam is about. And as you can see, we have a wide portfolio of solutions in different fields, from delivery devices for nasal, buccal, auricular product, nasal sprays, for instance, ophthalmic delivery, eye droppers, and more sophisticated device, and we'll come back to that. Parenteral devices, such as safety system, insulin pens. Pulmonary, we manufacture PMDIs and also dry powder inhalers. Oral delivery for bottles, closures, and delivery devices. And dermal and transdermal devices for creams and lotion. And in all these fields, we develop our own technology, and we also manufacture for our customer either products that we developed or that we contract manufacture. So what's happening today? Well, we all know market growth that we used to experiment in pharma every year is not there as it used to be. So we have to get used to a slower market growth, even though it's still a good sector to be in. In that market, there is a shift to emerging market, obviously, more generics, shift in therapies towards biotechnologies, and development in OTC. So the environment that we're working in has changed dramatically over the last few years. So what does that mean for us? Lack of innovative molecules, growing regulatory scrutiny. We have more cost control initiative in that financial crisis, and more focus on patient compliance. And all these trends do impact the packaging and the devices. So what should we do? We try to identify a number of things that we want to work on. So design packaging that create differentiation. Since there are less innovative molecules, the devices and the packaging is becoming more important for the success of a molecule. We know that the biotechnology require new type of packaging, more injection devices, different stability issues. So to work in that field is important today. We have to comply with stricter GMP requirements. It has become more and more difficult to. It's okay. It has become more and more difficult to be compliant with the norms. Which also means that we have to respond to packaging performance. Consistency for dosage, for instance, is more and more stringent. Safety requirements for patients have become more stringent as well. Cost, given the slower growth and the state of the market, you cannot launch innovative product if you don't have a good understanding of the cost structure and the cost competitiveness of the product. More reimbursement cuts, then switch to OTC product, which means the attractiveness of the device or the packaging is becoming more important, shelf attraction. Facilitate self-administration, cost-cutting initiatives means more patients at home care, and also because people like to be able to stay home and not go to the hospital for every treatment. We need to improve compliance. This is a major issue. So the device, the packaging has a strong influence in the compliance of the patient for the drug. It needs to be more predictable and more dependable and easy to use. We need devices that work every time and with the right performance. So how do we see that? As a company, what we want is to get the best patient experience so that the patient can comply with the treatment in the best way. That means that we need to look at the compliance, devices easy to use, easy to carry, foolproof. That's a key criteria, and user independent, where we know that the patient cannot make a mistake with the device or the packaging. It needs to be safe to protect the drug, to protect from problems with the device itself. Attractive with the switch to OTC, the aesthetics, the ergonomics is more and more important, and the fact that it doesn't look like a heavy medicated device. And more, we need also to integrate sustainability. We put in yellow compliance and safety because we think we have to start with that before we do anything else. It's good to identify what we should be doing, but we should be doing it in the right way, which means that GMP manufacturing obviously is a must for a device company. Cost competitiveness, it's nice to have a good performing packaging or device, but if we don't have the right cost structure, this is not going to work on the market. And quality by design. Today, we need to make sure that whatever device we develop and design, we can control and identify all sources of failure from the start. And it's not, and we have a 100% check, for instance, when we manufacture the device, fully automated. So if we get all that right, then we can get what the patients need in the right way. So I have taken 3 examples among the products that we are developing. First one is Advancia. It's our platform for nasal spray, user-independent, preservative-free nasal spray system. Second one is Safe & Sound, which is a safety system for pre-filled syringes. And the third one is Novelia. It's our new preservative-free multi-dose eyedropper. So I'm going to do a short introduction on each of them. So, what are we looking at? Advancia is a new next-generation nasal spray. It's a platform that we have developed. What we looked at are regulatory requirements, because the base for a nasal spray device is to make sure that this device is going to help the pharmaceutical company comply with all the regulation, which means that we should target to go beyond the regulation itself to leave enough safety in the system that we are sure that the drug will have no issue on the regulatory side. Need to work on safety, make sure that we minimize extractables, we minimize contact with metallic parts that could be a problem with the drug and could endanger the patient. And we've introduced a way to protect the product inside the device till the end of the device to make sure there's no possible contamination in between 2 uses. At the same time, we need to look at the compliance and make sure the device is going to perform in the right way so that the patient can get the right treatment every time he uses the device. So first point is to work on user independence. Come back to that, meaning whoever the patient is, every time is utilizing the nasal spray is going to get the same dose, same amount of active ingredient, and the same type of spray, so we know that we'll get the same efficacy for the drug. And the other point is to work on prime retention, since this system in between 2 uses could get unprimed, which means the next dose may be incomplete. We've worked on the system to make sure that in between 2 uses, we keep the dosage in specification. So even if after a week the patient comes back to the system, he will get a full dose every time. User-friendly, needs to be easy to use. Controlled actuation first. It's nice to be user-independent, but if it's impossible to actuate for people with problems in their hands, this is useless. So we've worked on that. Ergonomics, able to use wider grips. Smooth spray, nice spray, it looks good and it's fun and it doesn't hurt in the nose. And the closing tip again, because the closing tip in the actuator, which is going to close at the right end of the device, will allow to prevent any clogging. Again, this is an issue because in normal use, you would have to clean, to dismantle the device in order to clean it. In that case, there is no need for that. And we've tried as well to make the device attractive and easy to use. So here you see the snap-on version of the device, which means that we found a way to integrate the overcap directly in the pump, but the cap is going to prevent any accidental actuation, but it's not an additional step during manufacturing. We really use the cap with the pump in one component and just one step fitting on the device, and with a nice aesthetic, which is attractive, especially for OTC, but also more and more on the prescription product. And we have additional advantages in that specific system. For a snap system, we are able to make sure this is very reliable in the sense that you're going to crimp plastic underneath the neck without deformation during the assembly, so it's safer and better for tightness. Coming back on user independence, what you see here is the results with different users, different ages, different strengths of actuation, and the consistency of the dosage, which is not linked to the actuation force or the speed of actuation. Especially on the green curve, you see the actuation speed, which is highly variable depending on the user. We've developed a specific feature in order to be able to measure that speed. And the blue curve at the top is the consistency of the dosage of the pump. And you see all the different users from age 20 plus to 81, I believe. So very reliable, consistent dosing, independent from the user. Here, we took it from a different way. In the first step, we identified the speed which user use the pump with. So we know what is the range of speed for different users. And then in our testing lab, we measured the droplet size. So you can see that in the range of use by the user, you have a very stable droplet size distribution. You will not get big droplet for some user and fine droplet for other user. It's very consistent as well. And same point with spray pattern. User speed, spray angle, stable across the range of actuation speed that we encounter with patients. So as a summary, what is this new platform for us? First point is we combine user independence and the possibility to have a preservative-free version. The pump has been validated for contamination and work without any contamination, with no filter, preservative-free. We have a consistent fine spray. It's user independent, so the spray is always good spray, very qualitative as well. When you see patient trying it, it shows that it looks nice and it's important on some market. We have an excellent dose consistency, which is greatly improved over the previous generation, which gives more space if there are variations in the formulation itself. We have extended prime retention. We can go for weeks without having to reprime the pump and still be in the specification of the regulatory. We have a closing tip which prevents the clogging, the evaporation, and in the preservative-free version prevents any microbiological ingress inside the actuator. There is a dose tuning capability, so we can extend from 50 microliter to 140. And again, minimal contamination from leachable or metal part with the system. The next platform is Safe and Sound. It's our safety system for pre-filled syringes, which is used as an add-on on pre-filled syringes in order to prevent needle stick contamination. The way it works is the system is snapped onto the syringe, and when you perform the actuation, at the end of the actuation, you are going to go over a clip, which means that when the thumb is released on the plunger rod, the needle is going to retract inside the cover, so there is no possibility for the user to prick himself. It's fully passive, which means that there is no additional step that needs to be done during or after the injection in order to create the protection. Disposable, and it's been designed to be used by patients or doctors, medical staff. It can be used for different types of injection. So one-handed, simple, it's reliable. You can drop it. There is no actuation, no activation. So it stays unactivated till the system is triggered. There is a safety feature indicated by clips. So when you pass the clips, you know that the system is going to be activated. It also improves the ergonomics of the syringe because it's bigger. You've got bigger flanges for the injection, so it's much better for injection itself. Slow activation force. You don't see the impact of the device on the injection. It's a good visibility of the syringe chip, so you can still keep the same type of usage that you have on the device. And for a pharmaceutical company, it's robust, which means that we can use it in feeding bowls, for instance. It doesn't need to be protected. So it protects the syringe against shocks, which means that it's not going to break. So if you have a product which is dangerous, for instance, this will help to prevent any breakage of the syringe. The safety system, it's also minimizing the residual volume. So we've done extensive tests on that, which is very interesting. It goes into the user independence side as well, the same as with the pump. When you perform the actuation, at the end, you will have a back movement of the syringe relative to the device, which is going to push the plunger all the way to the end of the syringe. That means that you have a very low residual volumes, and whoever is the patient or the user or the doctor, this residual volume is very consistent from user to user. So we don't see that extremely important variation of residual volume that we see normally with a normal syringe without the device. So it's not only a system that will protect the patient, but then it will also help the compliance in the use. It's compatible with the existing packaging line, so it's easy to industrialize. And we have a strong point as well. We have very good protection on the system. And this system can be used in all markets worldwide. We don't have any exclusivity or any IP issues that would prevent us from doing so. And to end, the last platform is Novelia. So Novelia is our new multi-dose preservative-free eyedropper, which is now fully industrial and has been on the market for a few months, commercial. So as you can see, the device is made of a standard bottle and a combination of a cap and a preservative-free dispensing system, which are assembled together and delivered in one piece. So what is the advantage? So the device is going to allow to deliver preservative formulation into the eye in a multi-dose package without any contamination. It's been extensively tested with a full package of contamination test protocols that we have developed and that we can discuss in details with our customers. It works with suspension and solutions. So any type of formulation can be used with this device. There is no limitation on viscosity. And this is linked to the fact that there is no filter system in the device, so there's no way to plug or to have problem with that type of filters. We've tested the device up to 1200 centipoise, which is very viscous for eye drops. It's easy to use. It's compatible with the existing filling lines. You just have a bottle and a closure. So instead of having two steps on a filling line, where I apply the plug and then I screw the closure, here I'm just going to fill and screw the closure onto the device. So two steps, one less, but normal line, existing line would handle the device. We have different sizes of bottle. We use a standard range of containers, so it's easy to implement. And the fact that obviously we have two components is going to make it simpler, less stoppage on the filling lines. For patients, it's easy, no big change. The system is very similar to a standard eyedropper, so you don't see no learning curve. It's user-friendly, it's small, easy to hold, so you can carry it in your pocket, so it's no problem. And we get calibrated drops, so very consistent droplet from the device. When we look at the key feature, first one is the venting system, and that's coming back to quality by design. We have a silicone membrane, and we are going to allow air to get back inside the device, but permeation through the silicone membrane. That means that you don't have a filter in the system, and filters are very difficult to validate, and especially we cannot control a filter on assembly line. We want to make sure that 100% of the devices that are delivered to the market are contamination proof, which means that we need a way to control the device and the tightness of the device. In that case, what we do is that we can do a simple tightness control on the device during the assembly process. It's easy to implement, and we are sure that there's no possibility of contamination. Again, no filter means also that we can go to very viscous drug. We manufacture the complete system, bottles and containers, so we supply, and we can guarantee the adaptation of both together. There's no leakage possible. The device is fully closed. So when the cap is on, there's no possibility of drug getting out of the container, inside the closure, for instance. We've also been able to manufacture a small blue tip, because by going through a user study during the implementation of the system, we've realized that the patients are used to have a pointed tip, and they use a pointed tip to see exactly where the drops is coming from. So when we went with a new system with a valve, it's not pointed anymore, and people cannot see where the drops is coming from. And that came back as a big feedback from the patient in the development of the product. So now, given the design, we are able to use a very dark blue for the small valve where the drop is going to come from. And that means that when you get close to the eye, even if you have a bad vision, you will still see that contrast in between the white and the blue. And patients now can really see where it's coming from. So it's more precise. They were telling us it's not precise. It's not that it's not precise, they couldn't see where it was coming from. And then we worked on the drug delivery. We have a valve which needs little pressure to open in order to make sure that we don't get a device that's going to be very much too difficult for patient to actuate and deliver the drop. And the last point, which is not there because it's more general to multi-dose eyedropper, we discussed about sustainability. When you look at that, nobody is going to say for eye drops, it's well recognized that it's a big advantage for patients to use preservative-free. And today, most of the solutions on the market are based on individual doses. And when you look at the amount of plastic that you need to manufacture one unit dose and multiply by the number of use during a month, the sustainability assessment is much, much better with a multi-dose system. And it's more cost competitive as well, which is a good combination. So I invite you to come to our booth, because this was short introduction on each of the platform. We could go in much more details in each of them. And if you have interest, we are just about 50 meters away in the next alley. And I'm welcoming any questions on either of these systems. Very quiet. Yes?
Yeah.
That's
Hi. On your first product for the Advancia, you said that you do not need to clean the nozzle.
yes.
So what do you do with the little product residue on the top? How, is it a suck back function, or does it all come out?
No, we've compared some. The closing is really, really, really at the end. So there's no way the drug is going to clog inside the channel. And we've compared it with some other type of closing tip, and we found out we had absolutely no clogging with some formulations that we know are difficult.
Thank you.
It may be that's another one may be more difficult, but we haven't found one that clogs the system. So I think we shall close then. Thank you for attending.